Sorry. And he wanted to provide a site for free web hosting for the UST community. Remember that at that time, free on the year 2000, web hosting was something very limited. There was a dying GeoCities on that time, and there was not much. It was not Web 2.0 as we know it today, that we can upload everything. So it started that way. And we also had fun with some activities. We started to giving awards to software developers in the past, from the year 2000 to 2005. We also make the petition to IBM to open source OS2. I think all know it, what happened. We send a petition, nobody replies. After 1 year and a half or 2 years, we send it again, and they reply, sorry, but there are no interest to open source OS2. Okay? And we also have fun standing against the Microsoft OOXML standard as an ISO standard. It was a very low quality standard to become an ISO, so we had fun being against that standard, and of course supporting the OS2 and the e-com station community. So today, what do we have today on the OS2World site? I think we are one of the important sites where the community can hang out. We have services, the new services I started. Just returning to the history, I started to collaborate with Kim because I say, your site needs news. Let's put, give me OS2World/news to put the news. And someday Kim say, no, the news should be on the main page. So at that moment I started to become the news master of this site. So we have the news, and I connected the news to Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn, to several social networks. So every news I post on OS2World, it gets replicated to the OS2World pages on that social network. In fact, it's low traffic, but 15% of the OS2World traffic came from social networks. So it works a little bit. It works. We also have our forum service. Well, the forum is where the community discusses. I think it is one of the most used services that OS2World has. I also have the wiki. I'm going to show the wiki later, and the picture gallery, and an IRC channel that is not much used. The forum, well, you know, I think you know this is a web forum. It's not an email-based forum. It's all web, and it's where all the discussions starts and ends in the community. People can get help from the forum. It can help you to post ideas and discuss the ideas. And of course, the forum is not controlled by the point of view or one person or one company. For example, I have other people in the community that moderates the forum, and also help me to be my conscience in some terms where I am more hard. They say, no, cool it off, and they are my conscience there. So it's not controlled well by the point of view or one person or one company. Okay, we're like an independent, we have a very independent point of view. The forum, just to show it quickly. This is the website, and I have the services right here on top. And I have the forum. Sorry, this is the wiki. And I have the forum where you can have different subjects and discussions. But the main feature of the forum is that it shows the last 25 posts here on the main page. That's why all the people always join the latest discussions on the forum. That is the trick.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back. The OS2World wiki is my best kept secret, which is public, but it's a secret because I just use it for myself, but everybody can use it. And this is a wiki that is under a license called Creative Commons Share Alike license, which is very similar to the GNU GPL license, but for documentation. So you can share, you can use the content of this wiki under the same terms. It means you have to also share it if you're using it or if you modify it. Okay? And I have been working on moving some old archive or delete web pages to that wiki. I try to grab the content. Of course, I first ask for permission to the author. They tell me yes, of course, and I grab the content, I put it on the wiki, and I try to make that content to live again on the wiki as a wiki page. And it also helped me a lot as a collateral thing for my campaign of open sourcing software, OS2 software. So just to show you the collateral, let's show the computer here. For example, I'm going to go to software. I'm just going to see if I have one here. For example, I try to get this an example when I grab a content from some other pages. I just put it as a description, download, links, the license, and the author. And since I have search hubs for every software that has source code, I also store the names of the people that have developed software and try to put their contact information and which software they developed in the past. So with that, I have, well, there is like 1,600 names of people that have developed OS2 software here. Just like as a collateral, since I was searching for OS2 software on hubs. Okay, so these are all the people that have been working on OS2 developing software in the past. Yeah? Not all active now.
Obviously, I can see.
Well, they're not active, but there are still
That's still great.
There's the A. That's only A. You have all the B. So this is my wiki, and well, it's our wiki, in fact, because you can grab all the information from here and you can use it under the terms of the Creative Commons license. And here I try also to follow up my open source campaign, the actions of my campaign. I follow it here, and you can see it, everything on recent change is the things that I have been checking out lately. Okay? This is a wiki. Okay. So that means that this wiki does not belong to OS2World, does not belong to me. In real, it belongs to every one of us. Yes, it's our wiki, in fact. Oh, sorry. The other thing that I've been trying to do is I wanted to create a list or a directory of which open source software do we have in OS2 and in Common Station. Open source software and source code that we have available, because having the source code doesn't mean it's open source. Having the source code with an open source license, it means it's open source. Otherwise, we don't know what it is. It's just source code, and we need to ask permission to use it sometime. Or, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes if they publish the source code, you guess that you can use it, but you're not sure. You fall in a copyright blank gray space. Okay? So I wanted to create this list, but I didn't want to go to hubs checking one by one and just making a list. So I started to grab that source code and try to put it in something more current or something more up-to-date where the source code can be shown easily. So I started to publish the source code on GitHub repositories. I don't know if you know GitHub. GitHub is a free closed service for open source development, just like is SourceForge, and there are others. So I started to create several repositories. I'm just going to show it on GitHub. I'm logged. Right now I thought that this was going to be only 300 repositories, that I'm going to finish that in 3 weekends, and that was all. But the truth is that I've been doing this for the last 2 years, and I cannot finish. Okay, but well, I'm close. Once I finish, it will be more easy going, but I'm close. I have 1,300 repositories. It was fine, or 1,300, I think. 1,300. Okay, repositories. So well, there are several pages of all these. Each one is repository. I'm right now checking the samples of several applications, several development applications, and well, there are like 66 pages of, I don't know, 20 of each one. Okay, so the source code, for example, is available, is now showing up, and can be searched by Google. It has been indexed by Google, so somebody is searching for source code can also find out what we have on OS2. For example, now I'm just going to open this one. You can see the source code here online. The good thing about Git or GitHub is that it's very easy to use. It's more easy than CVS. With the Git client, you just clone the repository, make the change you want, and you commit it. If I don't know, if you don't have my permission to do that, if for any reason I'm not okay of you doing that, you can go to GitHub and you can fork the project. Let me back to you. For example, I can grab this project and fork it. It will make an exact copy of the project that will belong to you. You can modify it, you can commit it, and you can do whatever you want with it. Okay, so in case I'm not available, or in case I don't respond emails, don't worry, just grab the project that you like, fork it, and with your OS2 machine, use Git to clone the repository, change the source code, and commit it, and you are free to go. You don't depend on me, you don't depend on anybody. Okay?
Is that visible to other people if you fork?
Yes. The only limitation that have GitHub that is free is that when you, if you're using the free version of GitHub, is that when you fork a project, it's going to be public. If you pay GitHub, you can have a private repository where you only have access to it. It's in other words, GitHub is a closed service to have a code repository. So you pay to have a private repository, or if you don't pay, it's public. Okay. And I also have created a more friendly list of the of this catalog, but it's not complete, on the wiki. So it's a long catalog, and I'm missing the developer samples and developer tools. This is all the source code that we have. All this software, we have the source code for on the community. So what I think it was going to be only 300 projects, it turned out to be like 1,300 projects. Yeah. So we have a lot. Okay, and of course the goal of this is not to resurrect all this project, but to have it in a more public way, when we can see, okay, I want to see a VX Rex example. Wow, there I have it, I fork it, and I play with that example for myself. Oh, I want to see something made in Fortran, I don't remember, or in Assembler. Oh, here are some things in Assembler, I will pull it off. Here are some drivers, etc. There are several things here. Well, just talking about the community, I think you all know this story about the crabs in the bucket. It's not common here. Well, the history goes like this. I'm not going to be specific, but it's your country, and there is a prolific and a good country on the side, and there is a river dividing that two countries. So there is a crabs fisherman working there, and have two buckets of crabs. One bucket has a lid, and the other one don't. So somebody asked, why this bucket has a lid and the other one don't? They say, okay, the bucket with a lid are the crabs from the good country. And it has a lid because all the crabs just, when I put it there, just go one up another, and they get out of the bucket, and the last crab to get out of the bucket just pull the rest, and everybody escapes. So I had to put a lid. He said, and why the other bucket doesn't have a lid? He said, that is the crabs from your country. Because when one crab tried to reach out of the bucket, the other one just pulled it out, so I don't need a lid. That's the story of the crabs in the bucket. It's used in, I don't know, in several countries. It's not in a specific country for that. It's just an example. There is no specific. So the community is very much like the crabs in the bucket. Everybody's trying to get out. So are we going to be the crabs that pull the other one down, or are we going to be the crabs that helps everybody to get out and be pulled at the end to get out too? So the community, in fact, has that two roles. It's not easy to define. It has two roles. Sometimes it can be the crab that lies at the bottom and helps the other ones to get out, and someone it can push you back. So it has a real dual role, which is hard to define. Yeah? So we cannot say, oh, the community is good or the community is bad. The community is the community. Okay? And of course, we all want to get out of the bucket, and the bucket represents the problems that we have with the platform. So if someone wants to try to take advantage of another and just leave one out of the bucket, of course, someone from the community will put it back. Yeah, someone will stop them. Someone will criticize their work, and that's how it works. And if someone asks for support, it tries to get out of the bucket alone, it will not get it. You have to, in fact, you have to always share something. Even when you ask for help, you're sharing something. You ask for help in the forum, and people are sharing their response, and that is going to be there in time. So in fact, asking for help is also a way of sharing, because you're going to get an answer that is going to be public and that everybody is going to be able to read. Yeah? And if someone offers a solution and sometimes even asks for money and offers to leave something behind that can be used in the future, they may get the support of the majority, and they can even raise money. It's not enough money, of course, not a lot of money or enough money for big projects, but sometimes it helps. For example, Bitwise Works has done a very good work. Of course, they have their income flow from other side, and the community also chips in a little part, but at least helps. Okay, that is the issue. And I want to put in an example of community funding projects. It's not that the Oculus is supported on OS2, but the Oculus is a virtual reality headset that is very that has shown too much on the last days. This started on a Kickstarter project, and it said, I want to create these goggles for virtual reality, and I have this idea, and I need money. And all the youngsters go, yeah, this is a great idea. If you give me money, I'm going to give you the developer kit. And everybody chip in, and they get like almost $2.5 million to create this virtual set. So that's good. That is the community help to help to create a product. The bad side was that after that, Oculus was sold to Facebook for $2 billion. And the people of the community, the people that chip in on this community say, well, I have here the $500 developer kit, which I pay for, and it will be better if I just bought actions for stock for Oculus, and I will get like 3 times more. But it's strange. So I helped create a company that was sold after for $2 billion, and I only get this. So it's kind of, you need to see the both sides. Yeah? But it's a good example that you can try to make something. Maybe if it will turn to something that is open source, that is something that can be reused in the future by anybody, it will get more attention. And of course, I started one day to dream about how to leave the bucket, how to get out of the bucket. And I started sometime to share ideas about a dream, which is only a dream. It's not a project. It's different between a project and a dream. And the dream is big, it's complicated, and several has failed in the past. And there is an open source OS2 clone, which is only a dream. And I started to write my ideas on this blog. But it's a dream for everyone. It's a dream for individuals, for companies, and for the community to finally get out of the bucket. Now, of course, when you dream, you get your stoppers there. No, everybody tell me it cannot be done, it's impossible. You're dreaming in Technicolor is my favorite one.
Yeah.
You need 1,000 hours, man. Of course, it's hard.
Yeah.
But let's face it, it's not easy. Why open source? And of course, the idea of a dream is to have a goal. It's not to have the resources. It's not a project yet, but is to have a goal. And it's not I'm going to sleep and the next day is going to be open source. It's impossible. Yeah, but it's the path to try to make every little effort we do for this platform to count and to add up to this dream. So every little step, every little thing we do on the NAVM2 wiki, oh, I forget to talk about it, on that wiki is a step forward to get to that dream. Every little thing that I post on the OS2World wiki is a little step forward. Why? Because it does not belong to me. Therefore, I put there, it belongs to everyone, and everyone can chip in on that. Every open source software that is ported to this platform is a step forward. And every line of code that is released, it adds up. And well, and everything that you give that allows to create a derivative works is not a thing that I create and nobody can touch. A thing that I create or that you create that can generate a derivative work is a step forward. So that is the idea of the dream. It's not let's put people to work on that. No, it's to make every little effort that adds up until one day we evolve in this direction. And I've been asked a lot why open source it is important. Well, the main reason about open source is freedom. It's not, there's a big issue when you think open source, oh, it's free of charge. And no, that open source means that has freedom and does not depend on individual and on an individual or on a sole company. So that is the freedoms that provide open source. I don't depend on this company that has the source code and has me hijacked. Yeah? No, I depend on the best one that is giving me the best service. That is the idea of open source. So the idea is to move from software selling to service providing. Yeah, if somebody asks you how to make money, is service. Yeah, you can see, for example, the Red Hat model of offering Linux. Yeah, Linux licenses. Red Hat is only services. Yes, you cannot copy Red Hat Linux because it has the logo, it has some copyright limitations, but the source code of Red Hat is already open source. You can grab it and you can compile it. But the companies prefer Red Hat for services, for support. Okay? It also reduces the risk of being left high and dry. Is high and dry understood by everyone?
Yeah.
You're left, okay, on your own. let's see what happened. It's your problem. It reduces the risk. Why? Because if someone is not here anymore, if someone says, no, I don't want to go with OS2 anymore, I move on, you can grab the source code and you can continue it. Well, anybody can do that. That is why it reduces the risk. It's the word reduce the risk. It also depends on the people, of course. If you have no developers, it doesn't work. But it reduces the risk to be left high and dry. Yeah, and we have the experience with IBM, right? Yeah, well, they left us, okay. So, of course, it allows us to add up to a bigger thing, to create something bigger, and it adapts to the community and also to humanity. Open source, it also has helped the humanity to keep going on. Sharing things, not only open source. Sharing knowledge is what has been helping us. Of course, it allows developers to experiment and learn from the other circles. I can check the other circle. Oh, this is how the other developer fixed it. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to do it the other way. I can do experimentation. It allows us to create derivative works. If it does not allow us to create derivative works, it is not open source. It's some other thing. Okay? And we can improve programs over time. And because it has clear rules. Open source have open source licenses. That are the rules that tell us how we can use the open source or what happens to the derivative works. And if we can, I don't know, for example, there are open source licenses that the derivative work can be open or not. And there are other where the derivative works need to be open source by force. Yeah? GNU GPL. And of course, for us, it can solve a lot of copyright issues. We have a lot of things called abandonware. Yeah? Right?
Yeah.
Abandonware is the software that we don't know if we can use it or not. Because the developer doesn't longer care. So maybe we can use it, and the developer will never find out and will never care. Or maybe someday it will show up. We don't know. That is the status of abandonware. If it's open source, we have a real knowledge of what the rules. Oh, this is the GNU GPL license. This is the Mozilla license, and I know exactly the rules of how this software works. Okay, that is why open source is important. And talking about open source, there's always the open source initiative. The open source initiative has all the licenses that are open source approved, and there is also, well, the GNU, which is the free software. FSF, Free Software
Foundation.
Sorry, Foundation. Free Software Foundation, which is the one from Richard Stallman, which is more. I think that in the U.S. is not a big hit, right? No, in Latin America he's a big hit. He's more social.
Okay.
The issue here, well, is that Free Software Foundation is to help the neighbor.
Yeah.
While open source is a development technique. Yeah, development model. So they differ in that, but they do share the same licenses. So there's software that is free software and open source at the same time. Okay? For example, in Latin America, I'm too capitalist to be on the Free Software Foundation, but for the guys in the open source, I'm too social to be on the open source. So I'm in the middle. Yeah? So I'm in the middle. So I cannot be in any of those.
You cannot have everything.
Yeah, we cannot. Yeah, always be. I hate to be a minority. Yeah. And the other thing is free content. Sometimes content cannot be used exactly our software. So we have the Creative Commons license to define how content can be used. So there are, well, the reasons are almost the same for open source. You give your content, your text, your book, your article, and you decide which Creative Commons license do you want to use. Of course, there is one Creative Commons license that is called public domain, which is public domain. You can do anything with that. Or there are other ones that there is a copyleft license that if you use it and you create derivative works, you need to also release it as copyleft. Okay? And there are on that extremes, there are other licenses in the middle. You cannot profit for it. Yes, you can profit. There are several licenses here on the Creative Commons, but it's very interesting also to know that.
Martin,
Yes.
it's not advancing.
Let me check.
This is the slide before.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry. Let me go there.
Okay.
Just a little.
You try it from here.
Oh, no problem. No.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I've heard that before. Uh-oh. I didn't do it. It's working on the stream.
Is it working?
That's not working up there, it's just working on the stream. That's
Okay, no problem. It's just I keep working.
Okay.
Try it from
Just
here.
use this camera and then.
Try it from here.
What?
Try it from here.
Yeah, but it stops refreshing on that side.
Ah,
Oh, no
okay.
problem. Okay, anything about Creative Commons?
You know, you mentioned Stallman, and I just wanted to point out one thing from the cathedral and the bazaar.
Oh, okay.
And that was at the very end. He said, what are the interesting things that could happen? And his primary example was OS2 is abandoned by the manufacturer. If the enthusiasts could grab OS2 and open source the remaining parts, that we'd have something that was as significant as Linux. This was what Stallman wrote in his book, in his seminal book, People in the Bazaar. So, you know, a very interesting
Okay.
thing. You seized on this, but
Stallman or Raymond?
Oh, no, you're right.
Eric.
Eric Raymond.
Eric Raymond.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be. Stallman is reading everything, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying once to Stallman to try to collaborate on the letter to open source OS2.
Yeah.
But at that time, I didn't know much about Richard Stallman,
Yeah.
and they told me, "No, I hate open source. It's all free software.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Read these links." Okay, so I learned the hard way with with Stallman. Yeah, he has been in Ecuador. He's a very good guy, but he is very, very strong-handed with the thing of freedom. Yeah, he's very crazy. That's cool. Yeah. On what? The real trick is, in fact, there is open source, there is Creative Commons, but the real trick is collaboration. Without collaboration, there's no model, there is no open source, there is no Creative Commons that will work. It will fail. If we don't have collaboration, everything will fail. That is the trick. The real trick is collaboration. And what we need to do is try to learn how to work together as a decentralized team. We need to work more together and start helping each other, because individuals alone cannot pull good things as a group. So we need to try to understand the difference that we have and try to do something together, try to collaborate and try to put everything in one bucket and see what happens. And this is how you can help. There are several things you can do. It's not exclusively on OS2World. There are several other sites, but you can write down something on the OS2World wiki. If you register on the OS2World page, you will get your user ID and your password that works for the forum, for the main page, and also for the wiki. So you can start editing content on the wiki, which is very simple. I don't know, you all have used some kind of wiki in the past? Because it is very simple. You just edit the page, and you have some notations you have to follow. And how do you learn a wiki? You learn a wiki. You learn how to use a wiki by clicking the edit button and checking the source code of the page, the source code of the page. Okay? So it's very easy, and when you learn the wiki, after that you are starting to make it more complex thing on the wiki. The most complex thing on the wiki are the tables. That is the only thing complex. The rest is just very easy text. Try to help to convert more OS2 abandonware into open source. I have been trying to do that, and I have some kind of success in some stuff that has been turned open source. Yeah, so there are several projects, and there are a lot of developers I haven't contacted yet, But maybe if you know someone that created a very good thing in the past, maybe you can talk to him and tell him to try to open source it and give it away to the community. And I also offer myself to help. Maybe he don't want a complicated license. Maybe he wants derivative works to be used freely without limitations. So we can choose together which open source license to put to that project. Okay, I'm just happy with any open source license. Okay, I'm not picky. Just any open source license is good. Submit OS2 and Ecom Station News to OS2World and ecomstationnews.com. That is not working right now, but well, that's not my site. But on OS2World you can submit your news. It's always important to submit news. It shows movement in the community. It shows that something is happening. And believe me, it's happening. I haven't stopped to publish news in the 12 years I'm working with OS2World. Also check if Hubs is missing some of the software and upload it. You say, hey, I have this file from '87 and Hubs doesn't have it. Okay, let's fill up that README file and upload the file. Yeah, it also helps. And you can also help to organize the OS2World Wiki and the ADM2 Wiki. The issue with wikis is that sometimes you don't know where it starts and where it ends. So sometimes wiki can be a disorganized group of pages. You try to organize it on the main page and on making categories. But it's also a good thing to try to get into the wikis and how to collaborate there. And also trying to get more development content, articles about development, OS2 development, Ecom Station development, and put it on the ADM2 Wiki. I forgot to talk about the ADM2 Wiki. I'm going to get back there. Just one thing. You all know the MD. You all know the ADM2 Wiki. Do you know it or not?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Wait, freeze. I don't have internet.
No, right.
Yeah. Okay.
You went on that router.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to show it later. There are more help. Let's put a screenshot of about OS2 software on social networks, on the forums. Screenshots helps a lot. The screenshots, for example, in I think in the last 2 years, I started to put screenshots in some news, and it's very good for downloads, clicks, and people to really think, oh, this application looks like that. I'm going to try it out. So believe it or not, screenshots are a good thing. And if you have, I don't know, an old software, and you have the screenshot, you can share it too. You can motivate other people to use it. And all the screenshots on the wiki, and well, more. You can also write tutorials, no matter how short, long, or incomplete they are. That's for a wiki. Wiki is very useful for that. You can get half-baked histories there, and maybe someone else can help you complete it, or someone else can review it, or if you only have 5 minutes, you put whatever you can write in 5 minutes, and you continue the next week with another 5 minutes and another 5 minutes. A wiki is very helpful for that. I started using the wiki on my in-laws' house. I go Sundays there, and the kid just starts playing with my cousins, nephews,
Yeah.
with my nephews, and my wife starts talking with her sisters. So I was just bored on the afternoon. So I started on Sunday afternoon. I started to grab the ADM2 wiki and I start to learn about it, and I start changing. Oh, I'm going to change this little word. It lacks a point there. Oh, I'm going to change this. Oh, I'm going to start to fixing the categories, and then I start to move in articles to the ADM2 wiki with the permission of the author, of course. Okay, so it's very good if you have limited time and you can only do 10 minutes, 12 minutes each week. You can put up a wiki over time, which is very interesting. Make comments on the forums. write diagrams about you learn about OS2. I'm going to show it. And well, share. That is the word. Share. I'm not asking for your life savings. I'm asking for a little bit of your time about sharing information, sharing knowledge. Yes? This is, for example, a graphic that I made. I'm not sure if it's complete or if it's completely right, but I try to write in boxes an interpretation of how is the OS2 and e-com station architecture right now. I was not able to find this on the internet. Maybe it's on a book that I cannot find. But I try to draw the blocks of what are the components of OS2 and try to make an idea of what is OS2 created for, with. Okay? Of course, the things that I know more is Presentation Manager, SOM, and Workplace Shell, and e-com station, and OS2 applications wrote at this level. We have the Windows 16 VM, the OS VM, and we have the stuff on the back that I don't know much about it. Okay? But I try to write it down, and this thing is public under the Creative Commons for everybody to just grab the file in OpenOffice format and modify it and say, no, I don't like this, I think that is this way, I'm missing TCP, IP, MPTM, I'm missing the Rex libraries, I don't know where to put it. So the idea is to try to know, in this case, what are the components of OS2 and try to show it in different ways. Okay? The idea is to share a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of your time. It doesn't matter if you think your contribution is small. The idea is to add up. The idea is to have a contribution that will add to something bigger in time. Yeah? And don't try to get dismotivated if you find someone rude and just put him aside and keep moving. Okay? Yes, that is a lesson also for me and what I learned on the community. Okay? For example, in my open source campaign, there's from time to time there is one or two that give me the finger. Okay? But for that one that gave me the finger, I found another 5 that say, yeah, that's good. I remember OS2 as my best years. I lost all source code, sorry. Or here you have the source code. Yeah? There are a lot that say me, I'm sorry, I lost the source code. But for everyone that gives me the finger, I have another 5 that really remembers OS2 with more love and appreciation. Yeah? There's one that told me, oh, that fiasco, I don't want to know anything. But believe me, the majority says that was really good old days. And this is what we have. We have, sorry, okay, I'm good with time. This is what we have. We have the community. I remember that the Stardocs, Brad Wardell said, the market becomes a community. That's why I'm leaving. Okay, I'm just here on the market. So it became a community, and that is all we have right now. We are a group of people, and that's a community. We are not a market. And it took me some time to understand it. Right? This is the community that I have. There is no market. There is no customers. There is no money, no glory, no chicks. So this is what we have.
What about the OS2 girl?
OS2.
You know.
Is it here?
Well, she didn't show up.
She didn't show up. Okay.
Yeah.
No, there is one on the forum, but his last name is a female name. It's not a real female. It's just the last name.
There's something Warpstock, I think it was.
Yeah. Okay. So I stopped. This is talking for myself. I stopped complaining and ranting and start collaborating, because I was a professional ranter. That's a word. I ranted a lot.
That's good.
Yeah. I was a professional ranter, and I think I want to stop complaining and start collaborating. I stopped fighting on the forum. I started, or at least tried, to inspire more people to collaborate. And if there's something I don't like, I try to propose a constructive alternative. If it's going to support, well, I just move on to other topics. Okay? That's what I learned on the community. And well, my final message, the community is not going to help you make money or protect your copyright or your individual needs. The community wants to get out of the bucket together. Yeah? So the idea is to let's work together to maintain our growth on our space in the operating system universe that we have, where you say we don't want to rule the world, we only want our space. Yes, we want also to be there. Okay? And working together with clear rules will help us to create something bigger that will stay long before we're gone, and adding up. Yes? And the good thing is, if tomorrow I get hit by a car crossing the street, I want someone else to try my work, and since everything is Creative Commons and everything is open source, you don't depend on me. You can continue with that. That is the final message. This is my contact information, and I don't know if there are any questions. No? Well, my message is not technical, so I don't expect any questions. And this is my master, Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton is the artist that was on Star Trek, The Next Generation. I don't remember the name. Will Wheaton was the kid in Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Wesley.
Wesley, yeah.
Wesley Crusher, yeah.
Wesley Crusher, yeah. He gives me he gives advice about not being a dick, because he used to play a lot of games, and there were people that just say anything. Just try your mother this, but I say, okay, let's try to cool down. Let's don't be a dick. And let's get work together. And I think his message. When I get mad, I always try to find his message, so we can work together. Okay? Thank you very much.
Take all this back and